What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Guys, today, Familia Rush is finally upon us. Now, we just had one of these recently, so hopefully you know how this works, but just in case, we're going to kind of go over this, and we're going to go over everything you need to know to take on this event. So once again, guys, if you are enjoying these, make sure you hit the little thumbs up button, comment something below, let's jump in. All right, so as you know, basically, each enemy is going to kind of face your Familia in basically in succession. So you're going to have enemy number 1 here, then we're going to have 2, and then we're going to have 3. When you beat that, they kind of level up. It goes back to 1. And this is a raid boss. You're not going to be able to beat them all, like, by yourselves. And there are certain ways you want to take each one on. But like I said, every time they come back, they're going to get a little tougher. So don't get complacent just because, you know, the first time you see enemy number 1, they're a cakewalk. You know, by the 8th time you see them, they might start hurting you. But let's go ahead and talk about this, okay? The sacrifice to be attractive. It's an odd name for an ugly-looking lizard. Aqua Killer is effective, okay? So if you have Aqua Killers on your team, great. That is going to help wipe these guys out. Dark Physical Attack is effective. So if you have good Dark Physical Attacks, you're going to wipe them out. Enemy skills. Enemies. Remove strength and magic buffs. So I don't know what turn number that is. You will probably be able to figure that out. It might tell us down below as well. I haven't checked. But they're going to wipe out your strength and magic buffs, so you will need to replace those strength and magic buffs. Allies. Decreases damage received, attack type, single target. So, as you know, the best way to get points here is to get one really big hit. Thing is, they're going to go ahead and, like, basically remove your ability to do crazy single target damage. More or less, what you're going to want to do is just kind of take this on with, like, a good dark physical team, as you'll see right here, and make sure that you get one really stellar AoE hit off with like multiple SAs occurring at once. That way you get that one really stellar hit. Dark Physical Attack is effective. You are recommended to use dark units with Aqua Killer. If you'll notice here, Physical Resist and Magic Resist is they're both neutral, and I don't know why they now say Physical Attack is effective. And it doesn't say here that they debuff. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. There's Physical and Magic are both neutral. I'm guessing maybe they either remove something here. It doesn't look like Magic is at a deficiency, which is weird. Anyway, Fire, Earth, Wind, Thunder, and Light are all neutral. Dark is down 50. That means they are the weakest to your dark units. Water is up 50. That means water is at a massive deficiency. Water will not be able to do the kind of damage Dark will do, so hopefully you've got a really good Dark team. I do not! So that's unfortunate for me, okay? Nocturnal Elf for you and Love Spell Chigusa. So those are the two Aqua Killers that are Dark Physical. They will do crazy, awesome things. Ryu, especially with her SA, doing that 100% dark damage to the whole team is going to be absolutely stellar. The assist to increase dark attack damage, Secret Crush Seer, will also be helpful. In other words, you really want to buff that dark damage. The enemy will remove your strength and magic buffs. If they do, cast them back immediately. It doesn't say what turn that is. Usually it's like turns 3 or 4. You can probably expect that by turn like 7, you'll probably have a triple SA. So really, you want to save all those SAs for turn 7. You know, SA with Haruhime, SA with Seer, and then SA with like Epimetheus or somebody that's going to have like a really, really, really stellar hit there. I would imagine, and I'd have to go back and look at it, I think Epimetheus might be better than Chigusa, but these generally are designed for the new units, so make wise decisions. I haven't actually built my teams for this because I don't have any of those units maxed out, so I've got to go make some hard decisions here in a moment. But all your tools are here at your disposal. You got to have that dark team. Unfortunately for me, that means I'm probably going to go have to wail for a few units. It's a thing. That is enemy number 1. Once enemy number 1 is defeated, you will face enemy number 2. Aqua Killer, once again, effective. Earth Physical Attack is effective. So your Earth teams are really going to shine here. Okay? Grants Taunt. In other words, if they taunt you, you're not going to be able to use AoE attacks. So foes grants sleep. So you need to have anti-taunt and anti-sleep. Allies decreases damage received, attack single target. So basically with taunt, being on there, it's going to encourage you to use single targets, and they're going to grant immunity to single targets. So you need to have a good way to avoid that. I'm sure they're going to tell us down below one of the new units that grants immunity to that. So pay attention. Now, physical is down 30% and magic is up 30, which means you really want to use those physical units. Notice when I said on the other one where everything was neutral, this is the polar opposite. Magic is at a major deficit here. You're going to be fighting an uphill battle with magic, so you really want Earth physical attacks. Earth is down 90%, and Dark is up 50%. Now, does this mean you could probably use water or fire? Sure, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be at a major disadvantage. Earth down 90 is going to be really hard to beat with a water or fire team, especially Dark team. Dark is going to be right out. But, so start building those Earth teams and start planning accordingly. You'll be fine. Earth physical attack is effective. Enemy will cast Taunt on turn 3 and 6 and Sleep on turn 2. So they tell you what turns that the ailments are going to be applied. So you want to make sure that you have anti-sleep and anti-taunt on your team at some point. If you are taunted on turn 6 and you try to do an SA that is AoE on turn 7, you probably have a bad time. Actually, I don't remember how many turns taunt. Maybe taunt is only one turn. Might only be one turn, so maybe it's not that big a deal. I don't recollect. I think it might actually be one turn. I'd really have to go back in here. But I mean, the main thing is you just want to make sure that you're hitting them as hard as you can with as big a hit as you can, and then just you're not going to beat them in 6 turns ever. You're just not going to, unless they've been beaten like within an inch of their lives, and you're already going in there with them all like negative 10 health. Basically, if you go in there like with their health bars full, you're never ever going to beat them. I don't care how potent you think your team is, ain't gonna happen. So the long and the short of it is you want to plan for these ailments and you want to plan accordingly. This might take a couple of, use your mock battles accordingly to plan those teams out. I actually don't know what I do here, but I gotta really sit down and plan it accordingly. It says to not get your actions restricted, counter them with Glorious Anklet, and Seaside Supporter Line. We talked about that new Line that actually does have those anti-ailments in there, or similar effects. You are strongly recommended to use Tropical Tabiana Kitty, an Earth unit with Aqua Killer. In other words, she's going to be like the most effective, most potent hitter here. Also, Aqua Killer units such as Blazing Fist Lunar, Seabreeze Eyes, and Foxy Yukata Haruhime will be helpful too. So we're trying to give you some ideas of units to use here, but basically this is all catered to the units we just got last night. Now, once they're defeated, Familia Rush enemy number 3 comes into play. Phantasma Killer is effective. Dark single magic attack is effective. Enemy skills remove self, debuffs plus enemy buffs. Self increase magic and decrease damage received, attack all targets. In other words, this is a single target unit, you want to use single target damage. If you're trying to use AoEs, obviously like some debuffs and things like that are going to be alright, but all said and done, you really want to use single target units as much as possible. Once your debuffs are in play, you should be good to go. Now, because she does remove debuffs, that does mean like when that happens, obviously you're just going to like kind of eat that in each turn, but I presume everybody here knows how to build a team around this. So physical resistance is 30, magic resistance is down 30. So once again, magic is at a major advantage. Fire's up 50, earth and wind are neutral, water's up 60, thunder is neutral, light is down 20, and dark is down 70. So it seems like you might have the ability to use some light units here. Light might be fairly potent if you do not have a dark team. That actually might be the team I might go with, to be honest, because I just don't have the dark team, but I gotta see what units I can personally acquire in the next little bit. Dark single target magic attacks are effective. The enemy removes debuffs casted on self and buffs casted on your party members at once. Ooh, so it removes everything. Yep. Removes enemies' buffs and removes her debuffs. So everything's wiped out. Literally, it's like Finn Wrecker Buster. Like everything is wiped out on that one turn. Doesn't say what turn that is, but probably expect it to be, 3 and 6 or 4 and then whatever. Dark single target magic attacks are effective. The enemy removes buffs, blah, 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 blah. Use beauty tips and tricks Elfie to cast dark resistance and magic resistance reduction back on the unit. In other words, keep her on rotation so she can remove that. Your debuffs cannot be applied on sacks, neither can your buffs. So use your sacks accordingly. Sacks will be good for early damage, but they're not going to be terribly effective for your final numbers. So plan your sacks accordingly. We're talking more like, you know, early damage, SA gauge charges, things like that. So that's about the only thing your sack is going to be handy for. Or if you're getting hit by her really, really hard, maybe somebody that can cast, I don't know, death saving throw or something to that effect. Because that doesn't get removed. Once the buffs and debuffs are back on, defeat the enemy with single target magic attacks. Azure Bloom Lina light unit with a single target attack is also useful. In other words, that Lina that I told you guys is amazing could be a hard hitter here. Looks like we're gonna have to like really fart around with teams and see what's awesome. I get the feeling light's probably gonna be good, maybe not the best, but I've really got to sit down and plan this out. Yeah, I've really got to see that. I feel like there's a dark unit that's going to blow everybody out of the water, but unfortunately, I don't have her, so we've got to see what happens here. That's pretty much Familia Rush, guys. Good luck to you all. My recommendation is communicate with your Familia as much as you can. When an opponent is beaten, let your Familia know, and then plan with your Familias so that people who have better teams for 3 versus 1 versus 2 can go when their teams are up. Because if you're not planning that out, if you're not working with your Familia, you're literally just cheating yourself. Familia communication is going to be an absolute necessity. Guys, that's the video. Like, comment, share, all the good stuff. I'll be back with more Danmachi here for you guys really soon.